and then we'll... Whoa! Where did you come from?
Well, as you can see, I am merely sitting here and reviewing what we have deduced thus far.
You were gone for ages, and now you're suddenly sitting here musing to yourself? Where have you been anyway? Hey, what's with the silence?
You never think things through before asking questions. I'm giving you some time to make up for that.
Paimon's so mad! Paimon's gonna give you an ugly nickname! There's just nothing super obvious to pick with this guy!
Well, you've heard nothing to suggest I left this whole time. So clear... Anyway, you plan to leave Aru Village and keep searching for the truth of this matter.
Yep. We're not gonna find out anything more by staying here. Enough with the silent treatment!
No. I'm just surprised that you decided to team up with...
Al-Haytham, you haven't helped us out at all ever since we arrived at Aru Village.
Yeah, you're all talk!
While you were investigating, I had my own work to do.
Really? Paimon doesn't believe you.
To be honest, we aren't really a team, so I have no obligation to inform you of my whereabouts. Not to mention that going separate ways allowed me to find some important information that you all had missed.
Huh? Right here in the village?
Correct.
What did you learn?
I'm going to take you to someone. But before that, you need to understand where she's coming from.
What does that mean?
How do you think the residents of Aru Village feel about what we're doing? In other words, do you truly believe every single word the villagers tell us?
You mean some of them lied to us?
Hiding the truth does not necessarily equate to lying. Remember what Candace said? Most people in Aru Village don't necessarily care which deity is in charge of Sumeru. That's, by contrast, the perils of their daily lives are ever-present concerns. They won't simply share everything they know with you without good reason. That's why you believed there was no further information to be found in this village. Glad you're following along. Among those you have talked to, there's someone who was consciously keeping you out of the loop. In fact, the reason being, to someone who only wants to live their life in...
Those eyes, those fierce eyes. You look like a real fighter.
Don't change the subject.
It's quite obvious that she's intimidated by Sino's authority.
Right. You were asking about the
She corrected herself mid-sentence because she's aware that there are King Deshret fanatics in the village. If she sounds too friendly towards the village keepers, she could easily make her...
I think it's been a few days since I last saw them. I usually go to bed pretty early, so...
Remember? She made a point of denying her involvement in anything that...
But honestly, I feel quite sympathetic towards them. Even though they act a little strange, they've...
After speaking to the village chief, it became clear that the village keepers had protected Aru Village at night. Then,
why would you...
By getting involved with an outsider, she risks drawing unwanted attention to herself. As for why she might be so wary about all this...
I'll pass on this one. You said that she is afraid of me. If so...
We're on it!
Miss Shawnee, as we discussed earlier, I've brought some...
Mr. Al-Haytham, I'm aware of where you stand, but...
Huh? What do you mean? We need to...
Go ahead and talk to her. You'll get the answers you... Go on. Earn her trust.
Is it really that simple?
May I call you Traveler? Hi, Traveler. Do you think the resurrection of King Deshret can truly change Sumeru for the better? Why's that? That's very similar to what Miss Candace says. I know you two are friends. That's why I'm willing to talk to you. Before, I wouldn't even have the courage to... Traveler, do you believe our lives will get better?
Yeah, we came here from another nation, so it isn't wrong of you to be weary. And but even so, we've met lots of people from different places, and we've always fought for what we believed in. We have friends in Sumeru, and we want to help them. That's why we decided to stay here for a while.
I want to trust you. My apologies for posing my questions like that. To be honest, I didn't
Hatham told us you have your reasons. It's okay. We understand.
The fact is that only one side of my family is desert folk. Some believe in the Dendro Archon, while others believe in King Deshret. I don't belong to either side.
Speaking of which, the radicals mentioned that they despise traitors. Do they just think that anyone who's different from them is a traitor?
Yeah. Some people can be so narrow-minded when it comes to bloodline and beliefs. It makes no difference. Slowly, I just stopped talking to people. I pretended not to hear or see anything. And then it happened. The village keepers who had helped me disappeared with no explanation, and I didn't—
You can tell them. I'm sure she'll keep your secret.
All right. I'll tell you what I told Alhaith. I actually have a sharper sense of hearing than most. Sometimes—
There are ghosts?
Perhaps. I'm not sure. It's faint, but it's definitely the sound of crying. It used to be louder and more frequent. But ever since you arrived in the village, it doesn't seem to happen as often.
I confirmed this with the guards on night duty. They also have someone with a good ear, and he's heard similar sounds at night. But because we're in the middle of a desert, you would rather believe that they are the cries of beasts than ghosts.
There's really nothing around these parts, except for an old hospital not far from the village.
I think they used to use it for treating Eleazar, but it's been abandoned for years.
Yeah, let's go! Ooh, is this the place? It's in terrible shape. Monsters, watch out!
Shine down!
Watch out!
There is no escape!
Hey there!
Gather! Shine down!
Hey there! Hey there!
Teamwork is dreamwork!
Order guide you.
Proper send-down!
Now you shall perish! Ha!
They were easier to deal with than Paimon had expected. Super strong bandits? Or monsters taller than buildings dropping out of the sky? He looks super serious. We gotta stay on our A game too.
This is the one. Let's go in and take a look.
Hey, I'll hate them.
Patience. Shawnee says she only hears the crying at night. We have time to burn. Until then... I'm taking a break.
And just like that, he sits down. Wait, what are you reading? Let Paimon see!
Okay, sure.
Huh? The natural position, which is the position...
So,
Oh, Paimon gives up! You keep reading your book, see ya! How is he so relaxed? Look at him, reading an impossible book in a creepy place like this. Hey, Paimon's your Tibet travel guide. Paimon knows plenty of useful stuff already. And anyway, it's not Paimon's fault that the books people read in Sumeru are so complicated. Paimon's getting so sleepy. Huh? What was that sound?
there it is. It's coming from that direction.
Is the sound coming from here? Huh. Paimon's not seeing anything.
It's from below.
But there's no way we can...
Something is off about the interior here. As I thought. There's...
Wow. It's like they tucked it... Oh, it looks like there are other mechanisms around...
Who ate a poisonous mushroom this time?
Stabilize! There is no escape!
Can't see?
Solidify! This is order!
Enshroud!
I'm going in! Inazuma shines eternal! Ha! Ha!
Stabilize!
Adventure time! Let's light it up!
I will have order!
Let's nip that in the bud.
Illusion shattered!
One with the forest.
Look! There's someone Good idea. Let's approach it.
Wait. You're...
He can't speak, and his eyes are Also, why is he the only one
Didn't expect to see him here.
You know him?
He's Razak, a senior of mine at the Academy.
He's a scholar, too? Is he the kind that holes up in a forest and mumbles stuff about training?
No. And that's the problem. Razak was never involved in any of those things. He never trained in the forest, let alone reach Satyavada life. Leaving that question aside for the moment, looks like they've already taken everyone away. For whatever reason, they left Razak here. Perhaps they... There are drag marks on the ground. They're clearer by the doorway. Someone was forcefully drawing a cart that was loaded with something heavy.
Loaded with people?
That is one possibility. It looks like they were in a hurry, as if they were afraid of being caught. The symptoms are identical.
Huh?
Allow me to jog your memory. Recall your time. Don't you think his symptoms look familiar?
Oh, now that you mention it, they're acting the same way.
Correct. The Academia is behind all of this. It isn't difficult to deduce their rationale.
First, the Academia spread a false rumor of King Deshret's resurrection.
These rumors were all the persuasion that the radicals needed, and those based in Aru village leapt into action. As well as being able to exploit the radicals for their own ends, this scheme has one further advantage to the Academia.
All the risks and responsibilities are offloaded onto King Deshret's followers. Life for the desert dwellers has been brutal ever since King Deshret's death all those years ago.
Many would give everything they have for the prospect of something better. Anyone looking to exploit that for their own ends simply needs to make a few empty promises.
Even if complications arise, people will see that those involved are all followers of King Deshret.
and look for no further explanation than differences of belief. The notion of an academia plot wouldn't even cross their minds. It may seem like a simple strategy, but it is able to work wonders under Sumeru's current circumstance.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense. But there's still one very important question. Wasn't it the academia that brought the scholars to Aru village in the first?
Throughout this process, one thing has changed. First, they were scholars. Then, they became lunatics. After that, they were exiles. An exile is still patently a living, breathing human being. If you can't find someone, you have no way of knowing what exactly happened to them.
Resource?
One possibility is that the information in their brains could...
Extracted? You mean...
With the technology of the Sumeru Academia, perhaps the process caused them great suffering, which is why they cry out in the dead of night.
So, the human brain... Nope.
I'm the Academia scribe, after all. I'm familiar with their projects. Anyway, judging by Razak's state, the contents of a divine knowledge or perhaps his curiosity got the better of him.
Hyman's a little confused. Can they...
The look on your face tells me you've realized the answer. That's right. To some scholars, gaining knowledge about the gods is their entire life's pursuit. However, I can't help but wonder. The Academia is going out of their way to look for forbidden knowledge. But what is their ultimate goal? I've spent quite some time trying to analyze the contents of the divine knowledge capsule, but to no avail.
You mean you're not even slightly interested in getting your hands on this forbidden stuff?
All scholars seek to expand the horizons of knowledge, but I'm not particularly in extracting information from people as if they were lifeless objects.
Sounds like you're really against all this.
Of course. The Academia's actions run contrary to their rules. Whether it be academics or knowledge, everything has its boundaries. If this matter needs to be corrected.
Wait, didn't you step in to help because you felt sympathy for those poor people?
Not to be callous, but no. My criteria are a little more restrictive than that. There is no shortage of suffering in Sumeru, and the same can be said for the rest of Tevat as well.
Probably not. Paimon's not sure.
You can say that. Simply put, I don't blindly place my faith into strength or heroism. The divine knowledge capsule is something I want to investigate in full. That doesn't mean I'm willing.
Paimon's been wanting to say this for a while. There are a lot of bad guys in the Academia.
You're probably right. Though I must say, I quite enjoy this feeling of uniqueness is also an asset.
Wow, that's a great way to think about it. Paimon's really impressed.
I'm just a more likable person than her in general. He won't last long if we leave him here. Let's take him with us. We'll work out our next step after we return to Aru.
You must be tired. You should...
What's the situation?
Who's this?
Unfortunately, somebody who's too young to take on the role of Isak's grandfather.
So, at one point in time, the abandoned Eleazar...
Yep, pretty much.
Their plan must have been implemented at some point before we arrived at Aru village, since divine cant and knowledge has been in circulation for a while now. Yet, they fled once we were headed to the village, almost as if they knew we were on their trail.
Yeah.
We may have a mole in our midst. One of us could be secretly revealing our whereabouts to the...
Huh? Are our friendships that shallow?
Looks like none of you have realized wherein lies the issue. Sino, you're the reason why they can predict our movements.
Wait, what's that supposed to mean?
Choose your next words very carefully.
It is simply a logical inference. I have my reasons.
So what you're saying is... Interesting. And here I thought you were the most suspicious...
I know. You have a point. But I realized something as we were returning from the hospital. Sino isn't like...
What are you trying to say?
Do you still remember who you are, General Mahamatra? As a Matra, you are no doubt privy to certain kinds of information. Before you can take action against someone, you are required to have all the facts available, including the less than savory details. Simply put, the academia has traditionally allowed you access to a wealth of sensitive information. Knowing their modus op, if you want to raise a vicious wolf, you need to make sure that you can avoid its bite.
The academia is monitoring me?
It's not that simple. The academia has eyes all over Sumeru, but they have a special protocol for dealing with you. Every so often comes a Nyagarbaha day. On this day, the academia enters new information into the Akasha through knowledge capsules. I remember seeing a thick notebook next to the control panel once. Its contents were all about the General Mahamatra.
You're saying that the academia entered my information into the Akasha too? But what's the point in doing that? My actions aren't important enough to be added into the...
The Akasha is capable of computation. The Akasha's algorithms are entirely capable of predicting your movements using the data entered. When you would...
It predicted my every move.
The academia has been watching you longer than you think. However, the fact that you resigned is proof that their suspicions were well-founded.
So that's how it is. Sino adheres to his principles so strongly that his tenacity of will and steadfast faith are worthless to the academia. They need scholars who are easily pliable and mindlessly go after anything they can profit from. Sino, don't take it to heart. This just proves how much of a trustworthy ally you are.
They escaped because of me.
Don't blame yourself. It's not like any of us would have known.
I have an idea. If they predicted my movements, then I might be able to guess where they went.
Whoa, you bounced back fast.
There is always an opportunity for safety after...
Oh, so that's how it is! Paimon gets it now! If the academia is trying to avoid Sino, then the safest place would be... Yep, that's right!
They'll want to proceed in the direction opposite of where I'm going. I must go.
There's also something I want to investigate.
Let's go, guys! After him! Please, wait! I want to go too!
You want to go too?
I want to find Grandpa.
Everyone, I leave him in your hands.
Yay! Let's go! Paimon feels like
Yes. After leaving the village, we should head straight toward the desert.
I know the desert like the back of my hand.
Is that because you play here a lot?
Yep. One time, Grandpa almost got lost in the desert, but I was the one who brought him back.
There's something here. What's this?
It's buried in the sand.
And Paimon thought running around everywhere was already enough work. Okay. So, we have...
These are likely fragments of an Academia-developed device, something akin to a headset. Looks like there were more than one village keeper. They must have been escorted this way. Let's split up and search the area. Chances are that we'll find other...
Is this what we're searching for? It looks kind of scary.
This is definitely a device used to extract divine knowledge.
How did it end up buried in the sand? I can't... They must have been attacked along the way.
Wait, what?
Grandpa, I hope you're okay.
Don't worry, your grandpa's gonna be fine.
Razak didn't display any signs of starvation or dehydration, which means that they left fairly...
We should be able to catch up.
One more thing. Given that the device had been in... I believe the attack must have happened prior to the sandstorm.
Let's keep going. They can't have gone far.
Ugh, but running on sand is so tiring.
But you're flying, aren't you, Paimon? Is flying over sand tiring too?
Ugh, of course it is.
Voices, over there. It sounds like an argument.
Whoa, you have really good ears.
Don't get any closer. They'll notice us.
Dia's talking with the Eremites? Very interesting. Let's listen in.
If you had informed me sooner, there'd be plenty of room for...
You're one of us. We would never lie.
Scholars. You don't know as much as I do.
I knew it.
Tia? Why would you... Tia!
Hey, what are you doing?
Huh?
Didn't you say you'd help me find Grandpa?
Well, look who's here.
This complicated...
You've betrayed Aru village?
So, this is the great Dear, you'd be better off as my assistant than hanging around with this motley crew.
I'm not the type that's easily swayed, Raman. You of all people should know that.
Wait, what's going on, Dia? Whose side are you on here?
Shut it, Paimon.
It doesn't matter. Whichever side you pick, nothing can deter us from the grand mission of resurrecting King Deshret.
Face the facts, Raman. It's not gonna happen. You should understand that more than anyone. Have all your years as a merc...
I'm a desert dweller and a proud follower of King Deshret. Whether I live by the edge of the sword...
It's not too late yet. The village mad scholars aren't gonna bring King Deshret back to life.
You don't understand, my dear lady. Pursuing our faith is our purpose in...
Even if it'll expose you to the Academia? Even if they end up disbanding the Eremites?
Yes. We've waited a long time for this day to come. The sun and the moon no longer shine here. With these scholars in our custody, we'll stomp the Academia's fort.
Ridiculous. Think about it. The Academia controls the entirety of Sumeru. If you still don't believe me, then try asking these two men. They're also against the Academia, but...
They look more like pawns of the Academia to me. Why would I listen to any filthy traitors? Your god abandoned all honor and betrayed King Deshret.
It's impossible to communicate with. Perhaps we should.
Do you really believe that by kidnapping the scholars, you'll be able to negotiate with the academia? These people have no value as bargaining chips. But I could be persuaded to take... These scholars were exiled from the academia. I, on the other hand, am their current scribe, and will be a
Wait, you can't be serious.
So, you want to trade places?
Precisely. Any wise person would...
What are you thinking? What if they decide to kill you instead?
Well, that would be bad luck for me. However, I'd get the chance to observe the scholars. Perhaps even find out the truth.
Think you can talk me over with that?
I'm not trying to persuade you. I'm using this as a means of joining forces.
You are the scribe. What do you have against the academia?
Not all desert dwellers believe in King Deshret, and the same applies to the academia. Why must all knowledge seekers approve of the academia?
You academia scum. Every last one of you is nothing but a hypocrite, just like everyone else on the other side of that.
Not so fast. I'll hate them. Do you stand by everything you just said?
I never make it.
You know you're making a dangerous decision.
I do.
Good. Rahman, hear me out. These people are my friends. Maybe you can't take the followers of the Dendro Archon at their word.
We've known each other for years. Of course I...
In that case, I'm willing to vouch for their honesty with my right arm. Come on, Rahman, don't be a coward. If you're serious about taking on the academia, you need to
An arm from the Flame Mane. But what if you refuse to oblige? What should I do then? No one's a fool here, Dia. We're mercs. And mercs don't tend to...
You're not wrong, but this is different. I promised my friends that we'd bring back the village keeper.
Let's do it right here, then. Give me your right arm as proof of your resolve.
Don't listen to him! He's not even trying to negotiate!
That's fine.
Are you crazy?
We came here to save lives. One arm for that many people is still a pretty good deal, if you ask me. Rahman?
Sure. Go ahead and cut off her right arm.
No! Dia! What are you gonna do? Think of something!
You don't have to go this far.
That's not for you to decide.
Do it!
Dia! Run!
Stop!
What's wrong? Can't do it?
Flame Mane, you and I are both desert folk. Cutting off your arm is no different than You've shown me that you're serious. Go on now, take your friends and leave. Meet.
Phew. I was really counting on him not going through with it.
Dia! That was crazy! Have you all lost your...
Then I just have to hold my claymore with my left arm. Okay, I'm sorry. But sometimes when you're out...
Don't ever make a promise like that again. I can deal with the if it came down to it. You would not...
I don't doubt it, Sino. But this is about more than me and them. There's a Even if we got rid of one bunch of radicals, there are others out there.
As you wish.
I'm sorry, Dia. I should have stayed put and listened.
It's okay. I promised you I'd help find your grandpa.
Whatever it takes? You just might be
Huh? Are you serious?
The Eremites once said that I was a lunatic. Perhaps a little madness is essential.
Why does it feel like he's using his praise for me as an excuse to brag about himself? Okay, let's get moving. We should...